What do you consider to be the most popular Marvel film ever? The MCU is so expansive and diverse these days that it might be challenging to identify the greatest films of all time. Even while we adore the MCU, it's undeniable that not every movie produced by Marvel Studios has been a box office success. Which Marvel films would you choose to watch if you could only view 5 of their most well-liked productions? The Avengers? The Black Panther? The Guardians of the Galaxy, perhaps? It's more complicated than you may imagine choosing the best 5 MCU movies, but this is what we managed to do. Are there any similarities between our rated list and yours? See what we consider the most liked Marvel films in the video below, and see whether you agree with the ending. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get updates about the upcoming videos. With all that being said, let's dig into it. Iron Man. Number 5 on our list is Iron Man, released on May 2, 2008. Given that the first Iron Man movie was the first MCU blockbuster ever produced, it's difficult not to regard it with an overpowering sense of adoration. But be pretty much guaranteed, just because it was the first one doesn't mean that it's the reason it belongs on our list of the top 5 Marvel films ever. Additionally, it's a cinematic lesson of superhero origin stories. It contains a fascinating but imperfect hero at the core of the tale about doing the best possible thing and a good amount of great technology. Don't overlook the fact that Iron Man's equipment is one of the best features. The Iron Man suit was and still is among the most powerful tools in the MCU, and Tony Stark, the brash yet likable man who controls it, has to take credit for that. Although the battle involving Iron Man and Ironmonger is minor by MCU standards, it is consistent with the path the superhero took to establish himself as what he is now, one of the most recognizable figures in the superhero film industry. Yet another factor that makes this movie one of the top Marvel films is its marvelous cast, which includes great stars like Robert Downey Jr., Jeff Bridges, and Gwyneth Paltrow. Captain America: Civil War. Occupying the 4th position in our list is Captain America: Civil War. Everyone's favorite superhero team was separated in Captain America: Civil War, also called the Avengers 2.5, over the dispute regarding their freedom. When Team Cap and Team Iron Man are on opposite sides, and when their two teams clash, you get one fantastic superhero movie. Among the most popular Marvel films, Civil War, released on May 6, 2016, intensified the rivalry between Captain America and Iron Man that had been simmering for some time. The Civil War shocked fans to the core and would have long-term repercussions for the MCU's future, making it far more interesting than any battle with a mutual foe. With Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Scarlett Johansson in the cast, Captain America: Civil War deserves to be on this list. It also aided the introduction of Black Panther, unquestionably one of the most recent and greatest superheroes in the MCU. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Next on our list of the 5 most popular Marvel movies ever is Spider-Man: No Way Home. Fans assumed they had seen enough Spider-Man films by the point Marvel Studios and Sony partnered up for their version, but the Spidey trio has emerged as one of the best in the MCU, owing the brilliant choice of Tom Holland and John Watts' direction. Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was released on December 15, 2021, is by far the best Marvel film in that trilogy. In this continuation of Far From Home, Spider-Man is dealing with the effects of Mysterio's disclosure of his identity. To make people forget, he asks Doctor Strange for his assistance, but the spell backfires and makes the multiverse collide. It's disappointing news for them, but good news for the moviegoers, since it means that some of the biggest villains from the movies starring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Mans will appear in the MCU. With Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Benedict Cumberbatch in the movie, it is one of the most popular Marvel movies of all time. No Way Home isn't simply a wonderful MCU movie. It also elevates the preceding Sony Spider-Man movies thanks to the many laughs and anguish shared by the 3 Spideys. Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy takes the number 2 spot. The Guardians of the Galaxy may not be the ideal superhero team given that they include a raccoon, a tree, Thanos' daughter, a distraught killer, and a wisecracking man-child. Yet they could challenge the Avengers for supremacy. While the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie idea didn't appeal to non-comic book enthusiasts at first. This one, which was released on August 1, 2014, is now regarded as one of the most popular Marvel films ever created. And that's in large part because of its wacky sense of humor and a fantastic soundtrack. The Guardians aren't afraid to have fun while rescuing people, because, in most cases, they may be either good guys or bad guys based on how they're behaving at the moment. Perhaps this is why we adore them. But hey, that's not the only one. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Lee Pace are in the cast, giving yet another reason to love this movie. They may frequently argue and mock one another, but they are still a family, a troublesome and very disturbed family. Avengers Endgame. Last but not least, we have Avengers Endgame, released on April 26, 2019. What do you believe is the most well-liked Marvel film to date? Without a doubt, it's Avengers Endgame. Given that it is the ultimate conclusion of the Infinity Saga, it could seem like a pretty obvious top choice, but there is much more to it. Leaving aside the great scenes that made Endgame amazing, such as Cap using Mjolnir, that fierce female superhero sequence, and finally seeing Cap shout "Avengers Assemble," it also brings time travel to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is not only amazing in respect of what signifies upcoming movies, but it also allows us to revisit some of the MCU's most meaningful events before bidding the MCU goodbye with tears in our eyes. We mourned not one, not two, but three of the classic Avengers in Endgame, so it's a sad occasion. Neither of the farewells was pleasant for fans, but they were ideal for those characters, even though Tony and Natasha died protecting the planet and Cap got his happiness forever. Who would have imagined that the MCU would have been where it was when Tony Stark said those famous words, "I am Iron Man," for the final time? More than 10 years since we first heard them in theaters. The future that Endgame also establishes makes it even better than the farewells. What makes it even more popular is its cast, which include Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Evans. Thor entering the Guardians, Cap surrendering the shield to Falcon, and Morgan Stark's future plans are just a few reasons why this movie is such a perfect ending to the Infinity Saga. It's also an excellent way to kick off the MCU's upcoming events. Because of this, it's the most popular Marvel film of all time. So guys, that's pretty much it. Do you agree with the movies we think are the most popular? If not, let us know your choices in the comments below. Don't forget to give a thumbs up to the video and share it with your friends. See you in our next video. Till then, take care.